Hello, viewers. You're welcome to your show, my show, our show, the Digging Deep Show. It is your man this time, Kudzi. Thank you so much for tuning in. We respect you having so many channels and you just decided to tune in. Thank you very much. As you are aware, to those who have been following us, and if you're just tuning in, we launched a heart awareness campaign for 2014, and we are bringing different people to educate us in the areas of cardiovascular, how to reduce it, as well as what to eat, what not to eat, how you can exercise, the main reason being keeping up with good health in this day and age where we are having higher numbers, especially within the Afro-Caribbeans, of heart attacks. And with us in the studios is a woman who put on, or who is wearing large number of hats, and I cannot introduce her, but madam, please introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, my name is Velile Ndebele. I am originally from Zimbabwe, but I've been residing in this country now for almost a quarter of a century.
Oh.
A little bit about myself. I am a former cardiothoracic nurse, then went on to study nutrition and dietetics at the University of Surrey in Guildford. Then after that, spent an awful lot of time still within the healthcare sector, both publicly and privately, and then I still wanted to give back more to society and decided, hang on a minute, Val, you know, why don't you sort yourself out first, i.e. develop yourself further and see where it takes you. So through my own personal development journey, I actually got to understand my own wellness challenges that I didn't realize that I had, and through that decided to go to the US and get trained further in the field of colon hydrotherapy, and set up the very first clinic in the whole of the UK and Ireland, focusing on digestive health, introducing...
The clinic is for, what do you say, the word is colodylotherapy. What's that?
Well, we focus purely on wellness using, you know, the most ancient natural remedy, which is known as colon hydrotherapy, meaning we're taking care, obviously, of the whole digestive tract through the procedure to make sure that we are enhancing our wellness. Because really, if you think about it, all disease starts in the gut, doesn't it? Because if your gut isn't working properly, even if you're eating well, your body isn't able to assimilate, you know, all the stuff that you may be putting in.
Well read, and having quite a heavy background in terms of health and well-being. Probably the main question which our viewers might be asking, how best can we live a better life?
Well, I consider myself as a wellness warrior because, funnily enough, heart disease runs in my family. So rather than wait until things are wrong and cure them, I'm of the school of thought of really focusing on prevention rather than cure. Yeah, it's all about being mindful of what you're putting into your body, number one, first and foremost, in terms of the quality and the types of foods that you are ingesting, and managing, you know, your stress levels, because 21st century living, we're always on the go, 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 and sometimes we don't even stop to realize what's happening, you know, inside, internally. So yes, I feel managing one's blood pressure is key, because really, if you think about it, it is the silent killer, because it hasn't got any symptoms, has it?
So with the fact that you know, almost all of the people whom we're targeting, mainly the Afro-Caribbeans, they'll be saying it's expensive to eat healthy food. How do you go around it?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's expensive. It's being mindful of what you're putting into your body. For example, you can go and get a great big steak. Don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not vegetarian. I was purely vegetarian. I was brought up on red meat, but my diet in particular, I find I thrive, as per most people out there, on a diet rich in, you know, fruits and vegetables, your whole grain fibers and things like that. And it needn't be expensive at all if you think about it, compared to say, all the processed stuff, which is likely to cost more because it's been packaged, compared to say going to your fruit and veg dealer around the corner who will, make sure that you get your supply of fruits and vegetables quite easily. Simple as that.
Just as simple as that. You are watching your show, my show, our show, the Digging Deep Show. If you're just tuning in, we are having a cardiovascular awareness campaign, and Velile Ndebele is with us here, coming from that background of cardiacness, getting through levels until where she is now. To those who have been watching you of late, you have been kind of making an awareness which has much to do with food and other things. What else apart from the food do you think contributes more?
Well, it's leading an active lifestyle, because if you think about it, if you just invest 30 minutes of your time every single day to move, number one, your blood pressure is going to be reduced. Number two, your blood sugar levels will also be reduced. You're also managing your weight and your stress levels, meaning you're a much more happier person. And when one is in a better state of balance, naturally we tend to lean towards, cleaner foods, better foods that will make us feel even better within ourselves, and ultimately keeping, that heart disease factor situation at bay.
You mentioned the issue of weight.
Yes.
And on the other hand as well, previously we've been talking of stress. People who are very much stressed, at times they lose weight. So in the event that I have lost weight because of too much thinking, does that mean that I will not be prone to heart disease?
Not necessarily. And also, when I find that when I am stressed, I put on weight. Why? Because my cortisol levels, the stress hormone, is raised up. Yeah, and also when you are stressed, you'll tend to grab the nearest thing available to eat, or
comforting yourself,
comfort eating, or not even eating. Back to your question, just because you're losing weight, it doesn't necessarily mean that when you're under stress, it doesn't necessarily mean that all is well within. Yeah, as I said, your blood pressure goes up when there's stress, and blood pressure is the silent killer. No symptoms.
Yes. And apart from what I have said, previously some have been saying sugar, and some have been saying salt. So if we remove sugar and salt, you coming from Zimbabwe,
Yes.
and being born there, you grew up there, you know the type of food which you eat.
Absolutely.
What else do you think will remain within the circles of our food for us to eat?
Just touching on the point of sugar, I think it's important for me to highlight that adults that are actually diabetics are 2 to 4 times likely to have issues with heart disease.
2 to 4 times?
2 to 4 times.
Quite high.
Yep. And with the salt, obviously, we do need some sodium within our bodies, but not too much. And the problem with most of us, certainly us people of color, we tend to like our food to be quite flavoursome, meaning more salt.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, not realizing that your blood pressure goes up, number one. Why? Because you're probably not drinking enough water. Yeah? And when you're not drinking enough water, your kidneys shrink because they are your main filtration site. And then they start to steal water from where? The gut, because your bowel is your largest water absorption site, which is what we focus on in the clinic. And then, to counterbalance everything, your heart starts to work even harder to pump fluid through, of some sort, so that, your body can function, and that's how blood pressure is elevated. So again, going back to your point of what's left for us, it really shouldn't be about sugar and salt. You can season your food with all sorts, and you can still get your natural sugars and your natural salts from, plant-based foods. For example, your fruits, your vegetables, and things like that. Yeah. Keep going on about that, but it's the essence really of what we're about, what we eat.
And the effect of high blood pressure being something which can be inherited from parents.
Yes.
How do we deal with it, especially to the young ones?
I feel it's important to educate the younger ones if there is a history of cardiovascular disease in the family, how do we educate them, making sure that they are active, making sure that they're putting the right stuff into the body. Yes, you know, it can be a little bit of a challenge to tell a 10-year-old, oh, don't eat that chocolate bar. They'll turn around, what else can I have? And I mean, I brought one of the little bars that I tend to snack on here. This is actually plant-based proteins, fruits and vegetables incorporated. This is actually a complete meal. You know, it tastes like, have a taste. You tell me what you think. And there's no sugar in here whatsoever.
Is it?
None whatsoever.
Yeah. Then we're missing that.
Yeah. So no, it's really educating the younger ones on the importance of proper nutrition, being active, both, you know, mentally and physically, to be able to grow into, you know, much more mindful adults, I feel.
Someone is watching right now and they have a relative or they've been diagnosed heart disease.
Yeah.
And they're thinking now, from here, where do I go?
Well, it's important to know your risk factors, i.e., you know, what sort of diet are you having? Are you obese? Are you smoking? Are you under a lot of pressure? You know, a very, very challenging, fast-paced lifestyle. And if you are in that category, it really is important to work very closely with your local health practitioner, get your cholesterol levels checked frequently, your blood pressure levels checked, you know, and move a little bit more. If you're smoking, go easy. And again, the one thing that most of us tend to ignore is the whole issue of hydration. Yeah, as in, we don't tend to drink enough water. And I'm saying water, I'm not focusing on the other drinks, the teas and the coffees, etc. They don't count.
So you mean the
Simple,
orange juice,
pure water.
mazoe?
No. Simple, pure water. You know, your mazoe are likely, your cordials are likely to have artificial sugars in there. And we want to reduce that, don't we?
Definitely. You're on your show, my show, our show, the Digging Deep Show.